Quite possibly one of the most outrageous NWA powers that we're going to get into right now. And, when you say outrageous in NWA, it does normally go quite well together. But my goodness, what a show to mark our 1000th and first now episode of YouTube content on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with me, Adam Cousins, and my NWA tag team partner, Miss Fiona Lochran. Evening, Fee.
Good evening. That was so much fun last night. I
It
loved
was It was nuts. Absolutely nuts in a good way. We're going to get into a lot of that. Obviously, the decision as well.
it.
We may need to talk about that. But anyway, yes. So, episode 1001, those of you that know will know that the Nemeth Brothers was our 1000th episode. That went out today. And of course, a big thank you goes to the Hitting the Turnbuckle to you, Fiona, because without a lot of stuff, without you, the interview that you done with us all those years ago, introducing NWA, the NWA interviews wouldn't happen.
You
Some of
wouldn't
the
even have known NWA existed.
I wouldn't have done, and plus some of the bigger interviews wouldn't have happened without you. So a big thank you to you, and here's to another
You are
1000 with
welcome.
you, another 1000 of NWA.
That's a lot of NWA.
We're nearly 100. We're very close.
Okay, okay.
We want our 100th power review, which should be a lot of fun. But look, let's get into this one. So it kind of started with a prologue to what we were about to get ourselves into
hmm
with Latimer and Aron. When you watched that, did you kind of think, what in the hell is this?
I watched it and went, oh yeah, this is what I hope it's going to be, basically. Not gonna lie.
It
No.
was an interesting start, wasn't it? Like,
It was. I mean, we didn't know up until the show last night exactly what was going ahead, other than the fact it was being called a Mint Julep Match. Still not quite sure what that is. Um, maybe it's Aaron's favourite cocktail, who knows? But when I saw that and had seen Billy's kind of video as well, precursor to all, I was like, this is going to be fun. And then I was hoping and praying that they did a good job of it, basically.
yeah, that's the other side of it. And he said must watch TV, which is probably right on the end of it. But, as NWA started, it goes straight to the ring. And it is the Southern Six are in their AT, Too Hot to Trot. And of course, the Frillbilly Silas Mason.
I feel like we haven't seen Silas in ages.
It has been a while, wasn't it? But they've had the vignettes, haven't they? But wasn't it
Yeah, but I
like
feel like I haven't actually seen Silas in the ring for a while. So I was really pleased to see him in AT as opposed to AT and Kerry.
definitely? Was it not the actual Jack Dane when he lost? Was that not
It
the
might
last
well have
time
been, yeah.
that we've seen him in the ring? But they're not finished with the country gentleman by the sound.
Mm-mm.
Obviously, they berated Carl Davis, as of course there is history there between the two. And then they announced this is going to be a blood and grits street fight.
No DQs, no countouts. Boom, just the things I like.
I mean, to add that to a Mint Julep match. So there's only two matches this week on Power and a decision. Two matches on Power this week. We'll get into the madness that was the Mint Julep match, but this blood and grits street fight was just an all-out war between the two teams.
Loved it.
There
Loved
was,
it. Straight from the bat, straight out the ring. Let's just go for it. All four guys just going for it.
you can't forget Papa Joe on the outside to make the fifth. He was getting involved near enough as soon as the bell went as well in
Gotta
this.
look after his boys.
He does, he does, and even more of a reason soon. But Joe Garley, I think you made a bit of a boo boo in the early door goings of this by you kind of announced that Joe had won the presidential election before the break,
No,
which Billy's quickly cut you off.
quickly cut things off, and I was like, okay, was that a slip up? Was it not? But we will see later on in the show.
We will, but this was absolutely crazy. This match. I mean, they had chairs, they had kendo sticks, they had tables.
They had the steel steps from the ring. They had so much going on.
See, when
So
Silas got whipped into those steps.
he did, and then there was a fucking ad break.
I was trying not to say that, but there was.
I,
And I
can I can I just interject at this point, just while we're talking about it? Four merch adverts in that show last night. Four.
Is Danny's got to earn his money, right?
I know Danny has to get his money, but I don't even show merch like that at the indie shows I work at. I don't plug them that much. Like, oh, sorry. In the middle of that, you know it's a great. Everybody knows that I hate the matches breaking for ads. I just, oh, it's infuriating. And that's
Yeah.
all I have to say about that.
It,
Sorry.
it was, in certain matches fine, but when you've got a match like this and it's just at this point, it's just literally really kicking off.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be so bad if you didn't do another three other merch breaks during the this part of the show. So they went to the break. When they come back, there was a steel chair shot to the knee onto the stairs to
There
AJ
was,
Kazana.
yeah, and there's a bit of double team action. AJ was getting it from both Silas and Alex at one point. I thought, oh God, you're in trouble.
Yeah, he certainly was. It was just nuts. Joe's book. Yes.
Wonder what state that was in now. Well, we saw the at the end of the match. Yeah, I think Joe needs a new book.
He
Let's just say
even
that.
he even brought out the pocketbook
He did bring out the pocketbook. He
after
did. He did.
one
But
god.
yeah, that this match just they just went for it. Absolutely went for it. Like whatever they could get their hands on. At one point, Silas was picking people up out the chairs from ringside, and the fans were, and obviously I know that like Danny Deals and stuff were commenting as well. The fans were literally getting up and handing them the chairs. Quite clearly not country gentlemen fans then, if they're wanting the Southern Six to throw them in the ring. But it backfired almost.
It did nearly backfire. So at the end of this, there was chairs all over the place. You had I think AT was on the top rope at some point. Billy was going to do the Tower of Doom, but he ended up kind of throwing, I think it was AJ
AJ
onto
and AT, yeah.
yeah, AJ and AT sort of onto the steps, onto the sorry chairs. Obviously, AJ taking the brunt of it. AT nearly got the face for the chair
He did. He did.
as well in this, but it didn't end there because then once AJ had dusted off the cobwebs, he gave AT an almighty spear
It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
through the table in the corner. But as he done that, Bubblegum again, as he was called, was caught in the thrill ride from Silas Mason.
And you're screwed.
And you are screwed, and it's the that is it. At 1, 2, 3, the Southern Six pick up a victory against.
Did you see how long that match was? Because I felt, I don't know whether it's because I was really enjoying it, but I felt it was over really quickly.
Let me
I
just
loved it. It was so much fun. It had everything in it that I would have hoped for with those four guys in it.
around sort of
Um,
12 minutes or so, because you've
God,
got
it
to
felt shorter than that when I was watching it. Okay.
plus the commercial plus the Aaron bit at the
Yeah,
start. So
true,
give
true.
or take, 10 to 12 minutes, I would
Yeah.
suggest.
But yeah, Joe's poor book. There's nothing left of it.
No. And nothing left of his jaw either, by the sound of it. Well, there is
No.
actually. We'll get in. Actually, we'll hit the decision now because I feel as if the mint julep needs its own time.
I'm
Uh,
okay with that.
so after that chaos, shall we say, we're going to get to more chaos. But before we get there, the decision 2025, the most important decision in the whole of the world, who was going to take over the territory campaign. Now, during the break of the first match, it was announced that Brian Idol was disqualified for the competition. Record low votes was
Oh well, that's unfortunate.
the man with the half smile doesn't quite pick up that. So it was down to three. It was down to Kenzie Page. It was down to Pastor CeeLo, who actually we're going to be interviewing very, very shortly on the channel, and Joe Kazana. Now, we did say that Joe Garley may have let the cat out the bag early doors.
But Kenzie was in the lead at this point.
She was at that point. But there was a change. There was a swing in this, as there usually is in these elections. And did he do it by the book? I don't know. But Joe Kazana, don't look at me like that. Joe Kazana is our NWA Territorial President. I demand a recount.
You can ask him.
We may have to ask the pastor in a minute. I don't mean the American version of pasta either. The pasta CeeLo when we speak to him shortly. But we've now got a new territorial president, and it is Joe Kazanafi.
I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do and whether these people get their steak dinners and Kansas Chief tickets and all these other things that he said he was going to give them. So, but obviously they weren't bribes because he was just giving gifts to his friends. So,
Yeah, sure. We'll see if he lives up. He's going to be a normal
I
politician.
don't know what his plans are for presidential duties or whatever he's got, but I wonder if that'll do JCP Promotions any favors or not.
Well, let's hope so.
Be
Let's.
interesting to see.
I want to see his manifesto.
I don't think one exists.
Well, I think we need to see it, to be quite honest with you. But there we go. I still want the recount, Billy, Joe, whoever, Danny. I need a recount on that. But yeah, so congratulations to Mr. Joe Kazana, NWA Territorial President.
Congratulations, Papa Joe.
By the book, my ass. Anyway,
Ooh.
enough of that. From carnage to presidencies
The
to
ridiculous and the sublime.
the sublime and the ridiculous. Now, those of you that are fans of cinematic style matches, you get that in abundance here, but I don't even think I would call this even a match of sorts. This was like, it was just like watching a TV program.
Yeah, very much so.
It starts with Tom pulling up at this house, and he was like, "What the hell?" When he
Well, no
pulled up.
wonder. Fire truck, police car, funfair ride. And the decking of the house is set like some blooming Halloween Horror Nights walkthrough, which is probably a fairly accurate representation of what the inside of the house is like.
It was, and he walked in, and she was, and there was a lady at the thing, and she was like, "Who are you here to see?" And he was
A
like,
pole dancer.
"A
Don't
pole,
forget the pole dancer in the background.
of course, the pole. We couldn't get anywhere without a pole dancer." But he was like, "I'm here to see, Aron Stevens, or and all of that sort of stuff." Not, and then she was like, "Oh," I was like, "Not on the
Never heard
list.
of them.
Never heard of him." And that brings Aaron down himself. And he was more friendly with Tom at this point, wasn't he?
Which makes me very suspect.
He was giving him a tour of this mad place, whatever you.
He was slightly unhinged in this.
This,
Like I was watching it going, this is brilliant, but I'm like, he's a psycho.
yeah, it really is, and he really was, and he was giving him this tour, and we get to a final point where he's outside, and he's gonna look at a star, and bang,
I
we've started.
know that was a bit sneaky. That was a bit sort of, I don't know. That wasn't very sportsmanlike, Aaron.
It wasn't, but it was funny. He's taken him through this house of horrors before that, and they finally get into the act. Oh, you call it action? I don't know. What would you call it?
I don't know. Like, I really don't know because it took a long time for anything to get. I didn't expect to see a wrestling ring.
Yeah, so at that
I
point,
did not expect to see a wrestling ring. When they're on the twister, I call it the twister. I don't know what ride that you call it, but I call it the twister. And like, Aaron's got his arm around Tom, and Tom's like KO'd because he's just not with it at all. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I did not expect to move from there eventually into a wrestling ring.
so yeah, we do get into that wrestling ring, and it's for the NWA Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, but did you notice what Tom got announced as?
Yeah,
Tom got announced as former NWA World
that was it.
Heavyweight Champion, and I was
Yes.
like, oh, at that point, I was like, it felt like a dream sequence.
Yeah, it
It
really.
felt like a dream sequence. But yeah, a tag match. Tom and Carson Bartholomew Drake versus the Slime Balls.
It's right. And Aaron was managing at this
Aaron is
point,
managing them.
which was crazy.
I'm a bit sort of like, what?
You,
And that went back and forward for a little bit. And then Tom sparked out yet again. And by this point, I think Tom's been sparked out a good two or three times by now.
yes, and then he gets up, and they have another kind of, I don't know, fight.
Yeah, but he wakes up and who's beside him? EC3 and Pastor CeeLo.
Yes.
And the sound of water. And I'm like, okay, where is he? He's lying on grass, but all you can hear is like water lapping the shore.
Yeah.
At this point, I was like, okay, game over. Anything can happen. I'm not even going to try and imagine what's next.
Well, after the pasta and EC3, and I love EC3's comment at the end of this match, but we'll get you, there. We'll get there in a minute. We will get there, honestly. We will get there. So just craziness ensues. Finally, Latimer gets the upper hand. Finally, I would
On
say.
a boat, no
On a
less.
boat, no less. Yes, we get to a boat in this. I mean, where was the ref during this?
I don't know. And we forgot about BFT. BFT
BFT,
was
yes,
in the ring as
BFT
well.
were there in the
BFT
tag
were in
match.
the outhouse. They made when they went from the ride to the ring, they went through like an outhouse that had some weird characters in it. It looked like cabin in the woods type thing. And BFT came out and they I think they got him. They took him to the ring, didn't they? They took him through the
Yeah,
door that led to the ring. So BFT were
yeah.
there as well.
It was just,
Apologies, gentlemen, for forgetting about you.
yes, very much apologies, BFT. It was just absolute carnage, literally. And he's one of BFT's members, Carnage, as well. So it kind of goes very well. It was all over the place. But finally, as we said, we're on a boat. Thom Latimer gets the upper hand. We get on to the green. What do you call it? The grass?
Just the grass.
The grass. And then Thom Latimer puts him in a crossface, and Aron taps to the crossface. And as we're at this bit at the end with EC3, he was just like, well, that's one way to do it.
Well and truly. At this point, I'd just like to interject. I loved the hark back to Aron Stevens' karate days from earlier
Yes.
on. It was very good to see.
Yes.
Um, he looked resplendent in his gi. He was dressed for business, but
Was.
I it was so far removed from the wrestling as it's supposed to be
Yeah.
that NWA like hark on about. So far removed from the kind of traditional wrestling that NWA are famous for. I don't know why they took it in that direction. I'm not mad about it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And it's been building a long time. So
Yeah.
it was nice to see the kind of story come to an almost conclusion, pretty much. Well, I'm presuming that's the conclusion. Whether or not it continues beyond that or not, I don't know. We spoke about this before. There was a real lack of storylines in NWA for a
Yeah.
very, very long time. So it's nice to see the storylines progress and for this one to get to this point. It was by no means a wrestling match
Yeah.
at
No.
all.
No.
But it was a lot of fun and it kept you guessing what was going to happen next. So I've got to commend the NWA for it. I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. There's going to be a whole side of the internet wrestling community who have watched that and gone, what the fuck have I just watched? That's insane. But there's also going to be another side that went, that was so much fun, and I fall in that category. I
I
love the
thought
traditional lesson. I love all of that, but I like to see something different, and it's nice to see NWA try something new.
you took the words out of my mouth. That was exactly what I was going to say. It was lovely to see, refreshing to see a bit of a change, even though it was wacky, out there, outrageously crazy. It was absolutely brilliant, and I
Yeah,
congratulate NWA for just putting out something so wacky. And I would rather them be ridiculed for that than ridiculed for snorting fucking cocaine off a table in a show. So that's another thing. Well done, NWA, for putting something out there a little bit different, a little bit wacky.
yeah,
Certainly worked for us.
yeah.
Anyway, but it
Yeah,
poses.
Adam even stayed up for it last night. He never stays up for Power on a Tuesday night. He always watches on a Wednesday. Adam stayed up to watch last night.
I had.
That's when you know you've got a good thing coming.
Yeah, as soon as I heard it was coming, and then when it kicked off with the street fight as well, I was like, well, this is an even better surprise because I didn't even know that. But yeah, normally, full disclosure, I watch on a Wednesday. We review it on a Wednesday. But I just was so intrigued by the Mint Julep. What the hell was going
We
on?
still don't know what a Mint Julep match is.
We,
Like I said, maybe it'll be explained at some point. Who knows?
we'll have to see.
But do you think this is the end of the Aron Stevens and Thom Latimer thing?
Yeah, I think now it's hard. It's got to be hard times next week. We've got to be there. We've taken so much news about the Crockett Cup that surely next week is hard times, which we know is Carson Drake.
Mhm. But no, I mean more like the Aron Stevens Tom story. Do you
Um,
think that's over, or do you think potentially there's still more down the line for the two of them?
I think it maybe Aaron will be involved somewhat in the Carson Drake thing because Carson's been involved, in
Yeah, Carson and Aaron are a wee bit in cohorts, aren't they?
yeah. So
At
and the
degree
fact that
anyway.
Rhino comes out at the end, I always feel as if there's something there that makes him come out rather than him just appearing. Wouldn't make I don't know. I know the Crockett Cup was in Philly and all of that, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully, we'll find out. Well, I say hopefully next week is the start of hard times. It's about time. If
Yeah,
anything
I
else,
know. God, that feels like ages ago.
I know it was, and it was
It
as well.
was
But
ages ago.
what an NWA we've had this week, Fee. It's been crazy, fun, amazing. But
It
now
was great.
it is. But now it's more time to what we're doing. So what are you doing? How was your shows last weekend, and what are you doing this week?
Last weekend was fun. I'm having a total mental block. I can't even remember where I was last weekend, but last
Didn't you
weekend
do
was
your
fun.
little that long show thing? Was it that come? Or
No, so that's this week. So Friday I'm going to Campbelltown.
yes.
It's the ones that are that far apart on the map, but you have to go all the way up and all the way
Yeah.
back. So I'm heading to Campbelltown with Premier British Wrestling on Friday. So that's going to be a lot of fun, but it's like a 3.5, 4 hour drive each way. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a long day.
Long day.
Saturday, main event entertainment art in Clydebank at Clydebank Community Sports Hub. So that'll be a good one as well. I wound up at Iron Girders on Sunday, which turned out to be a phenomenal little show. They do £5 wrestling, and it's five matches for £5.
Hmm.
Um, there was a lot of trainees debuting for the first time, which was great. They had the King of the Fling match as well, which is like an over the top rumble, and with a lot of the new trainees in it. I haven't been to Iron Girders for a little while. I had a fabulous vantage point from the stairs, where the sound system was. It was great. I loved it. It was really, really good to be back. That is, for those of you who don't know, that is NXT Gallus stroke Wolfgang's gym that he runs from Florida, even though it's in Glasgow. Um, there's a training school at Iron Girders as well, and they do run regular shows. So yeah, that was good. It was rammed to the gunnels,
Brilliant.
absolutely rammed to the gunnels. So that was an unexpected, fun Sunday afternoon for me.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you had a great weekend. And of course, like you say, Campbelltown this week should be a bundle of fun for
I
yours.
don't even know who's in the car with me. I dread to think.
Should be.
Please, if it's you, keep your clothes on this time.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, that's for another show.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah, just a big thanks to everyone for the 1,000th episode, for everyone that's been on, for everyone that's listened, and of course, the 1,000th episode has just, well, 1,000 piece of content has just dropped with the Nemeth brothers. So if you want to
I
hear,
love dogs.
he was great. He was on good form. He's pissed off, if anything. That is now he's pissed off with the fact that the TNA Championship is being held by an NXT superstar. And
Okay.
he's blaming Joe Hendry for that. So, oh, sorry, Joe. But yeah, we'll go and watch that. That's in the special guest interview section. That was also interview 200. We're about to do interview 201 this evening with the pastor. Interview 200 and no, sorry, interview 202. Interview 201 will drop this week, and that was with the great Sam Adonis, who has been around NWA. We finally managed to get the interview done that we've been waiting a long time for. Sam was traveling to an independent show in his car, so we had a great chat. But interview 202 will be coming up with the pastor Cilo, and I
This will
can
be
now.
interesting,
It
considering
will
he
be.
just lost the election.
And I want to see if he's seen the mint julep and what is a mint julep. I'm going to ask him.
Yeah,
He was there. He was part of it.
he
So
was there.
we got to see. And now I can reveal that we've got in. Well, it could be interview 203 unless something comes before next week. But if it doesn't, interview 203 will be another Talking Territories special with Mr. Brandon Beretta. Will be joining us next week.
Nice.
So it'll be me and you and Brandon next week. That will be also actually straight after the NWA taping next week. So we're in good hands. next week.
Did you see, actually, talking about NWA tapings, did you see they're doing some TV tapings in Tampa again? So,
on a Tuesday, if I'm
yeah, on the 2nd of July, just before Independence Day.
just before Independence Day, they're back at the Power Station. That is right.
They are indeed, yeah.
Power Station. Go and check it out. I mean, you can maybe get tickets from NWA live events. If you can't go NWA live events, if not, go and get some more. I mean, there'll be some more 77s coming right around the corner.
I know. I wish they'd release information about that.
Sure, they will.
I can decide how I'm spending my redundancy money. Priorities and all that jazz,
Yeah, sod the bills. It's all about NWA 77. On that bombshell, we will leave it there. But Fee, NWA is back next week. Are we back next week?
We will most definitely be back next week.
So in that case, we are back next week. And until then, everybody, if you're an NWA fan, buckle down, stay safe, and good. Bye.